Father Greg Boyle is a Jesuit priest who works with gang people in LA. He has a ministry called Homeboy Industries. He spoke at our school last year. We did an all-school read of his book, Tattoos on the Heart. And he's pretty well known. If you've never read anything of his, I highly recommend it. Just as one of those prophets in our day in terms of being right on the ground level of what's going on. He said something, he was being interviewed by Krista Tippett, if you've ever listened to her show, which has changed names. I think it's called On Being now, it's on Sundays. But when she spent some time with him, he referenced the Beatitudes in that interview. And he talked about the word blessed in it can be translated many ways. Happy are those, or blessed. But he talked about one of the more ancient possible translations of that is, you're in the right place when, and then you insert them. And as he said, that moves this from being a list of spirituality type statements to a geography. Where are you? Where am I? And that really moves this into a whole different space, no pun intended. You're in the right place when you can stand and embrace your own poverty and those of others. You're in the right place when you can stand in front of a casket or a grave and believe in the resurrection. You're in the right place when you speak words of mercy instead of words of aggression or accusation. You're in the right place when you can make peace with others, even when they're difficult, even when they're wrong, regardless of their position or their leanings or their addictions or any of it. You're in the right place. I think that's a much more powerful thing, at least in terms of me trying to understand my task of becoming a saint. And sadly, in modern parlance, saint connotes perfection or some sort of like, he's just a saint. He never does anything wrong. She's a saint. When in reality, when we read the lives of the saints, that's not what they have in common. As I said at the beginning, what they have in common is they're people of prayer. Their stories are actually hugely different. They approach the matter of being a disciple of Jesus very differently. Sometimes their hagiographies, their stories, have been glossed over to make it a little more pretty. St. Francis de Sales used to say, I've never appreciated those hagiographies. Give me the real story of these people. That's what becomes relatable. And when you peel back the sort of glossiness, that's what you find. Right after college, it was a very tough job market, 93. I did a lot of weird jobs in the space of a year and a half just to make ends meet. One of them was I delivered coffee to businesses, like a coffee convenience thing. And this was, the internet existed, but those of us of an age remember dial-up. Then someone else would pick up another extension and you got kicked off, right? So there was no Waze or Apple Maps or anything like that. So I'm working out of Novi, Michigan, and my delivery that day was in Portland, Michigan. I'm born and raised in Michigan. I had no idea there was a Portland, Michigan. So I look I have my little atlas map, and I start heading that way. And I get to Portland, but I now have no idea where this company is. So I call back into the main office at a payphone, young people. They used to have these boxes, and you had to put money in it and call. I'll never forget calling in, and I said, Sarah, I'm lost. I'm in Portland. Can you help? And she said, Maine or Oregon? No, there's one in Michigan. And I had to be recalibrated, right? So she called the company and got me where I needed to be. We've lost a sense of that. And that's where prayer always takes us, is to recalibrating. And so the question becomes, if we're going to be saints, are we people of prayer? And I think for many of us, that quickly becomes a guilt moment. Oh, I know I don't pray enough. But are you a person of prayer? And it's as simple as giving a few minutes to God every day. Start your day with 30 or 60 seconds. Look, if you're not a person of prayer right now, don't take on an hour. That's a crazy concept. Any more than if you're not a runner, that you're just, let me go run 20 miles and see how that goes. It will not go well. Nor would praying that much if you're not a prayer. And rather than be disappointed about where you're not, how about you just accept where you are, because God does. If in this moment you're going, oh man, yeah, you're right, I need to pray. Man, I'm not a person of prayer. There's one person, I assure you, who isn't surprised by that, and it's God. And he rejoices in the awareness and to say, I want to recalibrate. I want to stand in the right place. You're in the right place if you're ruffling a few feathers, to kind of paraphrase the last beatitude. If you're hated for your hatred of injustice, you're in the right place. And so wherever you find yourselves today on this Feast of All Saints, recall that the choice is really binary. You have to make a choice. It's the tension between the two. And to say, I want to choose sainthood, which doesn't mean perfection. It simply means I want to be in the right place. And if we believe in the God that is intentional, then we will always be in the right place if we're mindful. We're in the right place right now. Those watching online, you're in the right place right now. And the question becomes, in this space of prayer, in the praying of this Eucharist, we're in the right place. And we review those Beatitudes and what God's asking of us. Because maybe we need to move. Maybe we need to move just a little bit. Or maybe we need to move to a new spiritual zip code. Whatever it is, God greets that recognition in ourselves with joy and says, let's go. Let us be on our way to being the saints that we know our world desperately needs. Not more aggression and accusation, but mercy. Words of love. Words of challenge, for sure. Sometimes speaking truth is not received well. But here we find ourselves. We are in the right place. How will we respond to what that is each and every day? I think involves the recalibration to say, Lord, help me understand the right place for me to respond to the people you've put in my life. May God be praised.